Hey everybody, this is Jackie Lukman, and as you can see, I just voted, and we did just come to vote. Our polling place is not far from here, probably about a block from here, and I wanted to come over here to show you what we're fighting for. We're not fighting for an election. We're not fighting for a president. We all know what the primaries were like. We all know what this election was like. All the arguments for one candidate or against another candidate from the major parties, completely moot points right now. Because if you look in the background behind me, what you'll see are a lot of boarded up apartments. These used to be what was called the Washington Highlands here in Washington, D.C. And it was one of the poorest neighborhoods of the city in Ward 8, and there was a lot of crime here. It was really, really bad during the late 80s, early 90s because of the whole crack issue. And but this place was full of families and people who were struggling and trying to make it in a society that had pretty much just pushed them up on this hill and forgotten about them. And now, as you can see, all these apartment buildings are empty, they're boarded up, and they're being renovated. And I have to ask myself, unlike a lot of people who would see this and say, oh, well, this is progress, the neighborhood is improving, I gotta ask myself where all these people went. So when I went into the voting booth this morning and I filled in my circle for Dr. Jill Stein and Dr. Ajamu Baraka, I got really choked up because, not necessarily because I got to vote for a woman, although that's very important, but here's something we progressives have lost sight of. When this election started, the Green Party wasn't even on the ballot in every state in this country. Historically, the Green Party hasn't been on the ballot in every state since 2000. It was Ralph Nader and his bid for president for the Green Party candidate that got us to ballot access in more than 10 states. And since then, ballot access for the Green Party has grown. And since last year alone, the Green Party has enjoyed more ballot access this year than any other year that it has been included in ballot access in the presidential primaries. That's an accomplishment. That's why I got choked up when I filled my circle in for Dr. Stein and Dr. Baraka, because we did that. We got them on the ballot in 44 states, 12 more than last election. There are 3 states. I had to write this down because there's a lot of numbers. There are 3 states where you can write the Green Party in. That's Georgia, Indiana, and North Carolina. The Green Party is not on the ballot in only 3 states now: Nevada, Oklahoma, and South Dakota. The fact that we are able to vote for Stein and Baraka in 2016 is an accomplishment we cannot lose sight of. No, we're not going to win the White House. Probably not. We'll see. Anything can happen. But enough of us care. Enough of us woke up. Enough of us decided to stand up and fight and stop supporting the status quo to get the Green Party on the ballot in most of our states. That's a win. That's a win in this process, and we cannot lose sight of that. That's what I got choked up about, because I know that we did that. So tomorrow, when we lament whoever is going to be in the White House for the next 4 years, doesn't matter to me which one it is, because I'm going to lament regardless. The only thing I'm going to be thinking about are the people who used to live in this neighborhood. Where are they? What kind of opportunities do they have? Are they going to have an opportunity to come back to the neighborhood that they used to live in these newly renovated houses? Are they going to have jobs? They're going to have access to quality education. I'm going to be thinking about working with Empower DC, the organization that we highlighted a while ago that worked with this neighborhood another part of this neighborhood that to keep their neighborhood school open.
They actually sued.
They sued to keep their neighborhood school open when the residents came back because the developers in the city wanted to close it. I'm fighting for those people. So on November 9th, what we real progressives are going to be doing, what we had better be doing for the Green Party, our mandate is to focus on our 4 pillars, our 4 areas of focus. They are education, activism, media, policy. Yeah, I had to write it down because it's a lot to remember. And we've got to do all those things. We've got to educate the American public. We've got to work out activism, how to mobilize to get the stuff that we want done, how to raise awareness about these issues. We've got to control the media. We are the media. We have to put the information out there for you, and we have to push policy. We got to get involved in the process about issues that we're concerned about. Environmental justice, environmental ecological justice, economic justice, peace with justice, equality, gender and racial equality, and democracy, reshaping democracy and maintaining it and making sure that it's accessible and representative of all of us. That's our mandate. Those are the marching orders for Real Progressives on November 9th. Today was not a milestone that we looked to and said, ooh, this is what we are working toward. No, today was just the beginning. So tomorrow, we're going to be reaching out to people who we haven't worked with before on how we can address issues like this in our city with organizations and people that we were working with before now to connect them, because that's an issue among us progressives and us revolutionaries. We're all trying to recreate the wheel in our own little buckets. We don't talk to each other. So we got to connect these people together. And we're going to try to do it under the Green Party umbrella to push the Green Party to be a recognized force in neighborhoods like this. Because this is the battleground, ladies and gentlemen. That's what motivates me. What about you?
Principles over personalities. There's no one person that's right. Bigger than the movement itself.
That's right.
And until we understand that as progressives, as real progressives, not these old fake tin can progressives that's under the heading of the Democratic Party. Mm-hmm. The real progressives, we have to understand that if we want change, as I stated yesterday, that those of us who endeavor to make the more perfect union perfect, this is not for the faint of heart. Because those that are out here displacing people, that are shooting at journalists like what's happening up there in Standing Rock, those that are continually making policies to impoverish the American people, those who are saddling our young people with a bill of debt before they even get started in life, for those whose only foreign policy is war, not peace. Well, all those people, they don't sleep. And so even though it's been a very contentious election season, we can't sleep on our laurels. No. And as far as those of us who have decided to put our efforts behind the Green Party, we can't come out every 4 years and think that we're going to make a difference. Actually, tomorrow is when we should all start to organize on the local level. There is a strategizing events that's being planned by the Green Party. Please look out for it, get involved in it, because we're going to have to build this party to the point where we can make it more relevant to the people on the streets.
That's right.
We plan on going out in the streets and canvassing, because as we've seen, if one thing that this election process has shown us is that the American people, even though they may have voted for Trump and Hillary, are not fully behind them.
That's right.
This was truly a voting procedure that most people held their nose.
Yeah.
And so this is really should be good news for us, which this is telling us as the Green Party and as a third party that the time can't be more right.
Yep.
Than for us to get on board now, because the American people are tired of politics as usual. They're tired of the lesser of two evils. They're just tired of seeing the country and their future and the future of their children just go down the drain, and everything that would benefit us being decided by a wealthy few
Right.
who don't have it in their interest to allow us anything.
Right.
And their corporate media that is just going along with the program. And mark my words, when Hillary is elected, and I kind of have confidence that she will be, watch the media drumbeat us into another war.
Absolutely.
And the stakes are going to be a lot higher.
Absolutely.
So, and this is not, to scare anyone, because we just went through that. Where in the Western world, in most democratic countries, the United States have the lowest voter participation. And they made sure that they took care of that by scaring everybody to death.
Right.
So this wasn't based on principles. This wasn't based on policies. This
No.
wasn't based on how to make America better.
No.
This was based on hating the other guy.
That's right.
And so this is a prime opportunity for us to really build the Green Party to a very viable, formidable force. And we're getting there. We're getting there. And hey, look, tomorrow, that's when the real work begins.
That's right. That's right. So, listen, if you were wondering what it was that you can do, what can you do? You don't know what you can do. You feel powerless. Stop. The reason we brought you some of the interviews we did from people who are running as progressive candidates from places like Utah and Colorado was to let you know that you can be involved in the process. You don't have to be a career politician. All you have to be is somebody who cares. All you have to be is somebody who lives in a neighborhood like we do and sees this and sees it and thinks not, oh, look, there's progress in the neighborhood, but your first thought is, what happened to all those people? If the first thing you think about when you see something going on in your community is, how does it impact the people who live here? Then you have work to do. So on November 9th, after you cry all night because of who wins the election, on November 9th, you dry your tears and you get up and you get out and you go work.
I just wanted to say one more thing before we go, is that if you live in the DMV area, that's DC, Maryland, and Virginia, if you're in this area and you want to support the Green Party, please contact Jacqueline Luqman and myself so that we can put our actions behind our words. And we will form strategizing committees in this area so that we can help strengthen the Green Party in our area, which is the DMV area, which is DC, Maryland, and Virginia.
Yes.
So, so if you live in that area, if you live in the DC surrounding area and you're in the Green Party, you want to support the Green Party, or even if you just feel like the two-party crony system is it had outlived its usefulness, contact Jacqueline and I, and we will get with you, and we will really start working for a stronger party and a stronger future. JACQUIEMDC@gmail.com. That's how you get me. Thanks, Real Progressives. Please check us out on Coffee, Current Events, and Politics. Thank you. Oh, I wanted to make this one note before we leave. I know my husband's like, I got a note before, but no, I have to say this. This is very important. This is a milestone we need to be very, very cognizant of. In less than a month, through our Patreon link, we have 62 patrons. And we are at a commitment level of over $600 a month. That's you, Real Progressives. You did that. You are helping us. You are fueling the revolution. And we thank you so much. Believe me when I tell you, everybody on this team is fired up, not for an election, but for everything we have planned to do on November 9th and beyond. It just takes us. We don't need celebrities. It just takes us.
That's right. It just takes us. Peace, y'all. We'll talk to you later on Election Day. We're out.